Hey everybody, it's Manny from Trouble Forge. I have not checked in about food preservation like at all this summer. Frankly, I didn't have to do a ton of food preservation. Our large pantry is still pretty full. I have two videos about our full size pantry, at least two videos. I'll drop those in the description so that you can see what that looks like. My main goal is generally that I don't have to produce everything every year. So grape jelly is not something that we've done in a while, or grape juice. We have some grapevines that kind of line our play fence. So now that we've been here a little over 2 years, we're really trying to be diligent about pruning and things like that. So I have a video about how to make applesauce, which is something we're going to be doing this weekend. So we don't mind these. My parents' campers now here, and they come and stay with us like a couple weekends a month, and these recliners are going in there. So generally my porch is not quite this crazy. So these are all the apples we got from our apple trees. I'm guessing we got 4-ish bushel, which is very exciting. We've been working on keeping the apple trees, the peach trees, and the grapevines, which were already here when we got here, just in good condition. 2 of our 4 apple trees were really hit hard by cicadas, and they just did not do well. 2 did amazing, and like I said, I'm guessing we got like 2 bushels from each. Our 2 peach trees, the chickens are rude to them, so we need to work on the peach trees, and I don't know, we need to work on that. However, we did a decent harvest of grapes for really not, we don't do a whole lot with them. I mean, we pretty much prune them, and that's about it. So we got this bowl, a couple tomatoes. We got this bowl full of grapes. It's not a ton, but I think it might be enough for us to hopefully do a batch of grape jelly. So I'm gonna show you how to do grape jelly. I have a couple other videos. What's the matter, Lemon? Oh, she's sleeping. I have a couple videos on how to use the steam juicer and which one I have, one on like cranberry juice and a couple others. But today we're gonna talk about how to do grape jelly. It's pretty easy once you get your juice done. Like, so if you're familiar with making jelly or jam at all, it's obviously you're gonna follow that same process, but I'll show you how to go from grapes to jelly using the steam juicer. All right, so the steam juicer we have is this Euro Cuisine. There's several models that are generally the same. They're like in the 100 to 150 ballpark. There's pretty much 4 pieces to it. So the lid, the pot, the steamer piece, and where you put the water. So we're gonna have Jamie put water in this, and then I'll show you how to assemble. So it's gonna be really important that you make sure that this keeps full of water. You'll see that there were times where I indeed did not make sure that it stayed full of water. It's fine, it's all good, but just try to make sure that you keep water in it. So you see the little notch here. So you're going to put this here, line your spout up. Most models, even if you don't get the same brand as me, generally gonna be the same. All right, so then you're gonna put the steamer in, and then the lid will go on top. So what we're gonna do, what the kids and I are gonna work on, is getting the grapes off of their vines. You'll see that I have some green ones in here. I'm not super worried about it. These, P.S., eating these just fresh, oh my gosh, if you've only ever eaten like store-bought grapes, this like doesn't even compare. They're like so delicious, so fantastic. So we're gonna work on getting these off. We're gonna start piling them in the top of this, and basically the steam from down here is gonna rise up, and then it's gonna put our juice in here, which will bring out of the spout, and then that juice is what we use to make our jelly. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm not super picky about when I do these kinds of projects. So like if you have a teeny little stem here, I mean, you can pick them off. If you are just like on the move and trying to get the project done, it's not gonna make a big difference. I've definitely had people say, oh, it's gonna make it bitter and all of this. I disagree. I'm like, that's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but you know, whatever. So just try to get as much of the non-grape pieces off as possible. As usual, you want to make sure that you have your chicken bucket ready so that you can put all your scraps in and feed it to your chickens, your pigs, or whatever it is that you do.
Or your compost.
That's right, or your compost. So we are not like professional grape farmers or anything. It's the end of August, and I guess for some people that might be a little early to harvest their grapes, but we're learning keyboard, and we're currently learning Mary Had a Little Lamb, and it's on repeat in our heads. So I harvested these today for a couple reasons. One, I know that we're going to be getting into our busiest season, and I'm going to have less and less time for these kinds of projects. 2, in the past, so we've been here for 23, 24, 25, 3 falls now, fall seasons. The first year we were here, we got nothing from the grapes because the grapes, the apples, the peaches, whatever, everything was unbelievably neglected. Like the woods were so neglected. Everything was neglected pretty much except like the main part of the house. Anyway, so in the past, like in 24, we had pruned them and they looked pretty good, but I kept thinking, well, it's too early to harvest grapes. And so I didn't. And then by the time I got to harvesting them, they all looked like this hard little raisin. And what was I going to do with that? I mean, it was a rock. So that's why I harvested them this time. We ate several of them while we were picking, and they are sweet. They're not tart. They're super delicious. So I think they're going to make some amazing jelly. So nice of Zuzu to serenade us while we pick grapes. Also, can you tell we've been outside like all day? Everyone is covered in blueberries from snacks and dirt and all these other things. Also, we found a baby ringneck worm. It was like this big. It was in a pot. It was like top dressing. It's snake. Yes, not a worm. Ringneck snake. I was top dressing my green stalks and it was living in some of the dirt I was using to top dress. So it was like this big. It's super cute. We looked it up and learned all about it. So it was really cool. I wanted to mention too that this is a really great project to do with your kids because if you get like James working on this and this little stems in here, it doesn't matter. It'll be fine. This is an awesome project to do with the kids. Obviously safely and supervised. You know, like Jamie could turn the little valve to fill a container with juice when we get to that point. So lots of things that they can do to help. They can help harvest the grapes, pick them off, get the juice out. Jelly, there's not going to be a ton of things they could do. They could set up the jars, get the sugar from the pantry, that kind of stuff. But this is a really great, like, especially if you're homeschooling or if you just love life learning, this is one of those really great activities that you could pretty much do with Zuzu's 4, Jamie's 6, Lemon is napping, but it's a great activity for really any age. Bud is 15 and she's not quite 1. But Bud is 15 and he loves doing canning projects with me. And he's been doing them with me since he was teeny. Something else I wanted to note is if you are just in the early stages of growing grapes, or your grapes didn't do that well or whatever, the cool thing about making jelly is that you can really pair it with any other juice. So like if we get down to this and I happen to be like a cup or something short to make a batch, I don't know, we'll see when we get there. There's so many things I could pair it with. Like I could pull some peaches from the freezer. We have all those apples on the porch. Like I could juice some apples. I could make like a grape peach jelly or an apple grape jelly or like whatever. There's so many things that you could pair it with that would still be delicious. Like, apricots. I don't know. Like pick something that you might have in your freezer, cherries, whatever, that you could pull that little bit of juice you need to get your batch of 7 half pints or whatever. So don't feel like locked in, like, oh my gosh, I only have enough grapes to do 2 half pints. It's not worth it. Totally worth it. Like anything that you can pull from your land that you generally grew for almost free, short of a little bit of time to take care of them and pick them, is all the less money you have to spend in other places. All right, ask me how I know. Make sure that this is not open. I've done this more than once and I'm like, oh my gosh, why is the floor wet? Why is the stove sticky? Make sure that's closed. So we turned our burner on. Our stove gets super, super hot. So I generally try to keep it like medium to get kicking. I normally set a timer every like 10-ish, 15-ish minutes to check the water in the bottom. So this is, I don't know, it's half-ish full. We'll see how much we get from it. This is partly to make grape jelly, partly to not waste what our land is giving us, and partly to teach the kids how to go from vine to jar because I just think that's super cool. So we will come back when we have a little bit of juice. Here's what our grapes are starting to look like. This is good. That's what we want. All right. Ooh, we just steamed up the camera. My poor sad ball book. Mom got this for me in 2008. Yeah, 2008. It has been so well loved. I've been so rough on this thing. Some of the recipes I can't even read anymore. but get yourself a ball book. They're the best, and I have made so many things out of this book. This isn't exactly a necessary step, but you can take like a potato masher and gently kind of push them around. You don't want to push the seeds through the steamer pot part, but you can just kind of gently like swish them around. All right, so when you're ready to get your juice up, just turn your valve and start filling your container. I like, if I'm doing a smaller batch like this, I like to just put it right into a measuring cup so that I'm ready to make the jelly. Okay, so sometimes you get to the point, and if you have extra like adult helpers, this can be kind of handy. You can tilt it forward to get the rest of the juice to come out. I'm not adding any more fruit into it, so I just pulled it off and dumped the rest of it in here. We got almost 8 cups, which is so exciting because we can make a double batch. We should get 8 half pints of jelly out of this little harvest, which is so exciting. Also, the kids wanted to be able to drink some of the juice. Not that I can't pull some of this off, I totally can, but there's still good juice in here, even if the juicer's probably done juicing them. So if you put them in a flour sack towel, put them in a bowl, and kind of just let this hang, you'll totally get some extra juice. I mean, if I let them, they would drink this entire thing, but obviously, like, Zad and I want to have some jelly from these vines because that's just like super cool. So we're going to get some juice off here for the kids, and we are going to use this to make jelly, and I'll show you how to do it. All right, so as you can see here, I got probably a half pint of juice, which is great. The kids can split that and try it, and then we have this here ready for jelly. All right, so next step is put your juice in here. So you're gonna do in a pot. Don't underestimate and use a small pot because it will probably boil over. Again, ask me how I know. So it's 4 cups of juice to 3 cups of sugar, or 8 cups of juice, which is what I'm doing, to 6 cups of sugar. Obviously, if you want to do a lower sugar scenario, you can do that. You could do something like Pomona's pectin or any of those options you can certainly do. So I have 8 cups of our grape juice. I have our 6 cups of sugar right here. I'm going to pour the sugar into the pot, get it all dissolved, and then we're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to wait till it gets to gel point, which is 220. So if you follow us on like Facebook or Instagram, yeah, hold on one second. Not that chair because it'll roll. Get a chair that doesn't roll. You know that we are trying to weed plastic clothing out and switching to cotton, wool, linen, things like that. We weeded out plastic, at least most plastic, probably 10 or 12 years ago. But I didn't have a lot of good wooden utensils. So at the thrift store, maybe like 2 months ago, I ran on like the mother load of wooden utensils. And I just feel like nothing is more lovely than making jam in an old metal pot, which I'm pretty sure was my great aunt's, who'd be like 105 if she was still alive or something. And this like wooden spoon that I found at the thrift store that's bamboo. Like, that's just the best. All right, so Zuzu is working on stirring up the jelly. We have our jars washed, our lids washed. We have rings ready to go. I have become a huge fan of 4 jars canning lids. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I think they're pretty awesome. I've had almost no seal failures. Very nice. I've had almost no seal failures, and I've been making a lot of jam for the bakery and selling a lot of jam, and I've had like almost no seal failures with them. So definitely recommend them. Always look around for somebody that has a code or when they have sales or whatever, and they're pretty affordable. So anyway, we are going to make this whole batch of jelly for the cost of lids and the cost of sugar. A great way to know if you're at gel point is to just put a thermometer right in your pot. So whether you have a candy thermometer or a meat thermometer, any of those things will work. I have meat thermometers because we use them in the bakery. So just put your thermometer in there, see where you're at. We're at about 216, so we're super close. Obviously, you want to be super mindful that you don't burn it. I have found over the years that making it on a propane stove, you're kind of at a higher risk for burning, at least in my opinion. So like I said, I don't usually go past like a low medium. But I mean, you know your stove. Or if you don't, you'll find out soon enough. But definitely try not to burn. If you feel like you've burned just a teeny, Just don't scrape the bottom. If unfortunately you've burned it to the point where you smell it, it's probably infiltrated the whole batch and you probably killed it, and you'll have to feed it to pigs, chickens, compost, which is really sad. And I've done that several times over the years just as I've been learning, or if we move and like change stoves or things like that. And that's always like a super bummer. But if you keep stirring generally and you don't kick it up too high, you shouldn't have that problem. Those last few degrees can be super painful, but I promise it'll be worth it if you can hang out until it gets to 220. Okay, we finally hit gel point. It's so interesting to me when you're making jam and jelly. Like some fruits, it seems like you get to gel point in no time, and then some things definitely take longer, whatever. So we got to gel point, so we have it in our pot. We have our canning ladle. Has anyone found a metal canning ladle? I haven't actually looked this up. I have metal ladles, but like I just love the shape of this, but I hate the plastic. It's so yucky. Anyway, okay, we are going to fill these. You're going to leave a 1/4 inch headspace and then wipe the rims super well, because obviously this is very sticky. And of course, don't forget your canning funnel. That helps with the mess. Ideally, while you're almost at gel point, you get your canner ready and your water's already boiling, but there's a lot of chaos in this kitchen, so that didn't happen. So get your canner ready. You're gonna can these for 10 minutes, or maybe you're one of those people that doesn't can jelly at all. Either way, do what you do. I usually can jelly for 10 minutes just to be extra sure. So if you're new to canning, any pot can really be a canner. You just need a lid and some kind of rack. If you don't have a rack, you can like string together some old canning rings or whatever. Generally, at least around here, we can find old canners with racks and lids for $5 or $10 at the thrift store. So look around there, ask Facebook, look at Marketplace, see if you can find a canner. I mean, these are pretty cool, whole speckled, like vintage feel or whatever. So we're gonna get this filled up with water. I'm only gonna take it like, I don't know, maybe to like half, because these aren't obviously that tall. So get this filled, get it boiling, drop the jars in. So we got our 8 half pints. Zuzu is licking the spatula, which was it good, Zoo? Super delicious. All right, so we're gonna get our rings onto here, and oh my gosh, these are gonna be so good. Also, you can put your jars in before it comes to boiling. Just don't start your 10-minute timer till it's boiling. I feel like I should clarify that. Okay, so as always when you're canning, make sure that your water, your canner, your jars, your everything are all close to the same temp. So because your jelly is piping hot, you want your water hot. Your obviously your canner is going to get hot when you put the hot water in there, but since you have hot liquid, your jar is going to get hot from your hot liquid. You need to make sure that that water is also hot. So obviously I can see it's hot because there's steam coming off of it. So I'm going to put the lid on this. My burner's on high. We're going to get this boiling, and then we'll pull these out once the boiling timer goes off at 10 minutes. All right, so about the realest canning video you're ever going to see. Just kidding. Okay, so I opened it up and one of them's floating, and what that always means is that the bottom blew out. I haven't had that in quite a while. So the bottom blew out of one. It happens. It was probably, remember me talking about hot water, hot product, blah, da, 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 da. Well, that could have been off, or it could have been a weak jar. I mean, I've used these jars a bajillion times. So one of them was floating, which is a bummer. That means we are down to 7 half pints, but that's okay. So I'm going to let these sit in here for a little bit. We'll pull them out. I am certain they're going to be delicious. Big bummer on the lost one, but it happens. So I hope you enjoyed this video about how to take the grapes from the vine and get them into a jar and onto your shelf so that you can add a little bit more to your larder for your family. If you enjoyed this content, food preservation, homesteading, homeschooling, also micro bakery content, then follow us and we'll see you guys next time.